Why is kindness important in society?
I view kindness as the social lubricant that allows a diverse group of strangers to coexist without constant friction. While laws and institutions provide the framework, the actual day-to-day functioning of a community hinges on millions of micro-interactions of decency. Simple gestures, like giving someone the benefit of the doubt, build a reservoir of goodwill that makes a society feel less brittle and fractious. Without this baseline of empathy, modern life can quickly descend into a state of ambient cynicism and isolation.
Can kindness be taught?
While the capacity for empathy might be innate, I believe the active practice of kindness is something that is nurtured and modeled. It's really a case of being caught, not taught. Children internalize these behaviors by observing how the adults in their lives navigate interpersonal friction. A child who sees their parents treating a service worker with genuine respect will likely grow up viewing that as the default setting for behavior. That said, schools can certainly reinforce these values by explicitly validating acts of compassion rather than just focusing on academic achievement.
Can kindness be more important than intelligence?
That's a provocative question, but I'd argue that while they are both valuable, kindness is the essential anchor for a stable society. Intelligence is a powerful tool, but without a moral compass, it can easily be weaponized for manipulation or exploitation. A brilliant person who lacks empathy can do a lot of damage, whereas a kind person builds the social trust that allows everyone to thrive. Ideally, you'd want a symbiotic relationship between the two, a sharp mind guided by a warm heart. But if forced to choose, I'd stake my claim on kindness.
How do small acts of kindness affect communities?
I like to think of them as the invisible stitches that hold our social fabric together. Grand gestures make the headlines, but it's the accumulation of tiny courtesies that creates a sense of collective efficacy and belonging. Something as simple as letting a harried parent jump the queue at a grocery store sends a signal that we are looking out for one another. Over time, these small acts create a virtuous cycle of reciprocity, making a community far more resilient when tough times hit.
Why are some people kinder than others?
It's likely a complex tangle of temperament, early childhood experiences, and conscious choice. A child raised with consistent security usually has the emotional bandwidth to care for others, whereas those from chaotic backgrounds might struggle with self-protection. However, some people make a deliberate decision to cultivate kindness as a discipline, regardless of their own difficult backstory. Ultimately, kindness isn't just a personality trait. For many, it's a core value they actively work on every single day.
How can we encourage more kindness?
I suspect the most potent way is through modeling and celebration rather than just preaching or shaming. Happing on about the world's problems often leads to defensiveness, but normalizing everyday acts of generosity makes kindness feel accessible. If workplaces began to publicly acknowledge when a colleague goes out of their way to help, it would shift the culture away from pure competition. We need to rebrand kindness not as a sign of naivety, but as a quiet superpower that enriches the giver as much as the receiver.